9 of the 10 ways I am fixing to show you today will not cost you one dime to get started. Not next month, not once you save up. Today, for free. But the 10th way on this list, the one most families never even think to count, is quietly costing the average household more money in a single year than every other trick on this list put together. I am putting that one dead last on purpose, and once you hear what it actually is, you will not look at your own bank statement quite the same way again. I am Amos Miller. I was raised the plain way, where a dollar was not something you simply earned and spent. It was something you earned, and then thought hard on, before you ever let it leave your hand. I am not selling you a class here. I am not selling you some budgeting program, and I do not have a course sitting behind a paywall waiting for you. What I have got is 10 ways my own family, and the families around ours, have kept more of what we earn for going on 200 years now, and I aim to lay every one of them out plain, with the real numbers behind them, so you can judge for yourself which ones fit your own kitchen and which ones do not. Now, I will tell you honestly, a few of these are going to sound almost too simple to actually work. That is usually a sure sign nobody has bothered to try them in a good long while. Let's get into it. The first way, and it is the easiest one on this whole list, to start using this very week, is learning where your nearest bent and dent store sits. Some folks call them salvage groceries, or scratch and dent, or the banana box store, on account of the produce sometimes arriving in old banana boxes. These are stores that sell exactly what regular groceries throw away or send back. A can with a dent in the side, a box with a torn corner, a label that got discontinued, or a date that is close to running out, sometimes even a day or two past it, on the shelf-stable goods. None of that touches what is inside the can. A dented can of beans is exactly as good as a straight one. But because the packaging is not perfect, or the date has the store nervous, you will regularly find those same groceries at half of the regular price, and some weeks 70 or 80% off. In plain Amish farm country, these stores are common enough that a good many of them are Amish-run themselves, because our own families have shopped this way for generations, buying flour, oats, canned tomatoes, and baking supplies at a fraction of the supermarket price. If you are not sure whether one exists near you, search for salvage grocery, scratch and dent grocery, or Amish bulk store, along with your own town, and you may be surprised how close the nearest one actually sits. Now, a word of caution, because I want you shopping smart, not just shopping cheap. Stick to shelf-stable goods, your canned vegetables, your dry beans, your pasta, your baking supplies. Save your caution for dairy, meat, and anything that needed to stay properly refrigerated the whole way there. And always give a listen to your own nose and eyes before you trust any date on a label. Done right, this one habit alone can knock a real chunk off your grocery bill, for nothing more than a short drive. The second way takes a little more effort, but it will cut what you spend on soap by better than half, and that is making your own bar soap right in your own kitchen. A plain bar of soap at the store runs you $3 to $4 now, sometimes more for anything fancy. But melt down some tallow or a plain vegetable oil, mix it proper with lye and water, pour it into a mold, and let it cure a good 4 to 6 weeks, and one single batch will give you 8 to 10 full bars for maybe $15 or $20 in materials. That is soap running you $2 a bar instead of $4. And every batch after the first gets cheaper still, because you already own the mold. Now here I have to stop and give you a real warning, not a soft one. Lye, what folks used to call caustic soda, will burn your skin and your eyes on contact, and the fumes it gives off when first mixed with water are nothing to breathe in carelessly. Work in a room with the windows open, wear real gloves and eye protection, and keep children and animals well clear of your workspace while you mix it. Add the lye to the water, never the water to the lye, and let the mixture cool before it ever touches your oils. This is not a project to rush, or to do barehanded, because you are in a hurry. Respect it, and it will serve your family well for years, with soap that treats your skin gentler than most anything you will find on a store shelf. Rush it, and you will regret it in a hurry. The third way is simply this. Mend it before you replace it, and resole it before you throw it out. A pair of good leather work boots cost $70 to $100 new these days. Taking that same worn pair to a cobbler for a resoling runs you $15 to $25, and a well-built boot can be resoled 2 or 3 times before the leather itself finally gives out. That is one pair of boots doing the work of 3 or 4 for a fraction of the cost of buying new each time. My own grandfather kept a cobbler's last out in the barn, an iron foot-shaped anvil he had inherited from his own father, and I do not believe that man ever threw away a single pair of shoes in his whole life. He resoled them, he patched them, and when a sole finally could not be saved, he cut the good leather from it for something else entirely, a hinge strap, a harness patch, whatever the barn needed that week. Torn clothing was the same story in that house. A missing button, a split seam, a worn knee, none of it meant a trip to any store. It meant 10 minutes with a needle and thread after supper, by lamplight, with the whole family still sitting around the table. That habit alone, mending instead of replacing, whether it is boots, work clothes, or the household linens, can save a family several $100s a year without one single trip anywhere. All it costs you is a little time and the willingness to learn a skill that used to be taught to every child as a simple matter of course. The fourth way sits right there in your own laundry room, and it is your clothes dryer. After your refrigerator, a clothes dryer is usually the second hungriest machine for electricity in the whole house, running you somewhere around 40 to 50 cents of power for every single load. Run that machine 5 times a week, and you are looking at close to $100 a year, just to do something the sun and the wind will do for you at no cost at all. A simple clothesline strung between 2 posts, or even a folding drying rack set up on the porch, will dry a full load in a few hours on any decent day. And sunlight does something your dryer cannot. It bleaches and disinfects fabric naturally, which is why white sheets and cloth diapers hung out in the sun have come out brighter for as long as anybody can remember, with no bleach bottle required. In the cold months, or on a rainy week, a drying rack set up near your wood stove will do nearly as well, using heat you are already paying for anyway to warm the house. It will not suit every household every single week, especially where the weather does not cooperate. But even switching half your loads over to the line will cut that yearly cost close to in half, and your clothes will smell like clean air instead of a scented sheet, which is not a small thing either. The fifth way is one my own family still leans on hard every winter, and it is this: heat the room you are sitting in, not the whole house around you. Central heating warms every hallway, every empty bedroom, and every room nobody is standing in, all at the same cost as the one room where your family actually spends the evening. A small wood stove, or even a simple space heater, set up in your main living room, letting you shut the doors to rooms you are not using, and turn your main thermostat down several degrees, can trim a heating bill by a real 20 to 30% over a full winter. Here is how we do it, plain and simple. Once supper is done, we close off the bedrooms and any room not in use for the evening. We keep the family gathered in one warm room, with the wood stove doing the work, or a space heater if that is what you have got. Thick curtains, pulled shut once the sun goes down, hold a surprising amount of that heat in the room instead of letting it leak out through the glass. Compare the two for yourself. A whole house held at a comfortable temperature all evening against just the one room where you are actually sitting. The difference on your power bill by spring is not a small one. Come morning, that one room has stayed warm all night for a fraction of what heating the whole house would have cost you, and everybody still slept just fine under a heavier quilt. The sixth way takes the whole growing season, but it pays you back every single month after. Keep a real kitchen garden, even a modest one, and can what it gives you. Let me put real numbers to this one, because I want you to see it plain. A family that puts up just 50 jars over a summer, tomatoes, green beans, pickles, maybe some peaches bought at the orchard for canning, is looking at somewhere around $35 to $45 in jars, lids, and vinegar if they are buying everything new. That same 50 jars, bought already canned off a grocery shelf at $3 a jar and up, would run you $150 or better. That is real food, sitting on your own cellar shelf at less than a third of the store price, and it will keep for a year or longer without any power running at all. Some Amish households, the ones with a bigger garden and a bigger family to feed, put up several hundred jars in a single season. You do not need to go that far to see the savings. Even a handful of tomato plants and a few rows of green beans, tended through one summer, can fill a shelf that carries a family clean through the winter, for the price of a few packets of seeds and a little sweat. And every jar you do not have to buy back off a store shelf in January is money that never left your pocket to begin with. The seventh way is baking your own bread, and the arithmetic on this one is about as plain as it gets. A decent loaf at the store runs $4 to $5 now. Flour, water, yeast, and a pinch of salt, the 4 things a real loaf of bread actually needs, will bake you a loaf at home for well under $1, closer to 60 or 70 cents once you are buying your flour in any real quantity. Bake 2 loaves a week instead of buying them, and you have put back $300 or more over the course of a year, and that is before we even talk about how much better a warm loaf tastes than anything wrapped in plastic on a shelf. It does take some practice. Your first loaf may come out heavier than you would like, or your crust may not brown the way you pictured it. That is normal, and every baker in every Amish kitchen started exactly there. Start with a plain white or wheat loaf. Get comfortable kneading the dough by hand until it turns smooth and elastic under your palms, and let it rise somewhere warm and out of a draft. Within a few tries, you will have a loaf as good as anything from a bakery counter for a fraction of the cost, and a house that smells like something worth coming home to. The 8th way costs you nothing but a conversation with the people who live around you, and that is buying in bulk together and bartering what you have got extra of. A 50-pound sack of flour, or a whole case of canning lids, costs a good deal less per pound than the same goods bought in small bags, one at a time, but most single families cannot use 50 pounds of flour before it goes stale. Split that sack 3 or 4 ways with your neighbors, and every family walks away with a real discount and a pantry that never runs dry. Bartering works the same way, without $1 changing hands at all. Maybe your garden gave you more squash than your family can eat this year, and your neighbor keeps chickens and has eggs to spare. Trade squash for eggs, and both households come out ahead with nothing spent. This goes for tools and equipment too. Nobody needs to own their own wood splitter or their own post-hole digger, sitting idle in the shed 350 days out of the year. Picture one family's tool shed doing the work for 4 or 5 households instead of just the one. A handful of neighboring families sharing the big equipment they only use occasionally can save every one of those households real money, and it tends to build the kind of community where somebody always shows up when you actually need the help. The 9th way sits right under your kitchen sink. Most name-brand cleaning sprays run you $6 to $8 a bottle, and a good deal of what is inside that bottle is water, fragrance, and packaging you are paying premium for. Plain white vinegar and water, mixed in equal parts in a spray bottle you already own, will cut grease and clean most household surfaces just as well, for pennies a bottle. Baking soda, worked into a paste with a little water, will scrub a stained sink or tub without scratching it. Between the two of them, you can handle the overwhelming majority of household cleaning for what one single bottle of the store brand would have cost you. I do want to give you one honest safety word here, because I would rather you hear it from me than learn it the hard way. Never mix vinegar, or any cleaner really, with a bleach-based product. Combined, they give off a fume that is genuinely dangerous to breathe. Keep your vinegar and baking soda cleaners and your bleach as 2 entirely separate cabinets, never used together in the same bucket or the same breath of air. Use the plain, separate way. These 2 ordinary kitchen staples will save a family a real amount of money over a year, with nothing complicated and nothing dangerous about it. And now, the 10th way, the one I told you at the very start, quietly costs most families more than everything else on this list combined. It is not a trick, and it is not a product. It is simply this: stay out of debt wherever you possibly can, and pay cash for what you buy. Let me make that real for you with an actual example. Take a young couple who finance $18,000 of furniture and appliances through a store credit plan at 22% interest, paid off over 5 years. By the time that loan is finally settled, they will have handed the lender very close to $11,000 in interest alone, on top of the $18,000 they actually borrowed. $11,000 for the privilege of having the furniture a little sooner than if they had simply saved for it first. That is more money than every other way on this list would save that same family, put together, over several years running. Now, I am not telling you a house or a piece of land is the same thing. Those are different conversations entirely, and I am no banker or financial advisor, just a man who has watched this play out in plenty of households. But everyday store financing and a credit card balance carried month to month at 18 or 20% interest, those are the quiet leaks that sink a family's finances a little at a time without one single dramatic moment to point to. Save first, buy after. It is the plainest, and by a wide margin the most valuable, habit on this entire list. So here is the whole list, laid out plain and short. Shop the Bent and Dent store for your shelf-stable goods. Make your own soap, careful and slow. Mend and resole instead of replacing outright. Hang your laundry in the sun instead of running the dryer every time. Heat the room you are sitting in, not the whole house around you. Keep a real garden and can what it gives you. Bake your own bread. Buy in bulk and barter with your neighbors. Clean with vinegar and baking soda instead of the name brand spray. And last, and by far the largest, stay out of debt and pay cash wherever you possibly can. None of these 10 will make you rich overnight, and I never once said they would. But taken together, worked into your household a little at a time, they add up to real money staying in your own pocket instead of walking out the door year after year. Try the ones that fit your own kitchen and your own family first, and leave me a word down in the comments on which one you are going to start with this week. I do read every one of them. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.